Welcome. Good afternoon, everyone, to the Cabinet meeting for Wednesday, the 9th of September. In accordance with local authority and police and crime panels coronavirus flexibility of local authority and police and crime panel meetings, England and Wales Regulations 2020, this meeting is being held virtually to facilitate attendance and enable the consideration of important matters during the current COVID-19 situation. The meeting will therefore operate differently in that members of the Cabinet joining in remotely are still able to contribute and vote on any matter. I would ask all attendees tuning in to mute their microphones unless they have been invited to speak. If anyone wishes to speak, please use the hand icon for up hand icon, or send a message using the message icon indicating your wish to speak, and I will invite you in turn to turn on your microphone at the appropriate point. When you are finished speaking, please remember to turn off your microphone again. Following questions and a debate, in order to make a decision on the item, I will ask the Chief Executive to ask Cabinet members whether they are for, against the proposal, or if they wish to abstain. Please note that this meeting is being live streamed via the Council's website. I hope this will be without interruption this time. And will also be available to view by members of the public and the press who are allowed by law to film, audio record, take photographs, blog or tweet at the meeting. I will now ask all Cabinet members and scrutiny members present to introduce themselves. I will start with myself, Councillor Maria Compton, Statutory Deputy Leader of the Council. Councillor Ali.
Councillor Wasim Ali, Cabinet Member for Resources and Core Services.
Councillor Alcock.
Councillor Keith Alcock, Member for Homes.
Councillor Hadley.
Councillor Joanne Hadley, Cabinet Member for Safer Communities.
Councillor Millard.
Councillor Danny Millard, I'm the Cabinet Member for Inclusive Economic Growth.
Councillor Padder.
Councillor Iqbal Padder, Cabinet Member for Community Engagement and Equality.
Thank you. Councillor Shaheen.
I'm Councillor Farah Shaheen, Cabinet Member for Living Healthy Lives.
Councillor Singh.
Councillor Rajbir Singh, Cabinet Member for Skills and Employment.
Councillor Taylor.
Good afternoon, Councillor Jackie Taylor, Cabinet Member for Sustainable Transport.
Councillor Underhill.
Hello, Councillor Joyce Underhill, Cabinet Member for Best Start in Life.
And the scrutiny chairs, Councillor Luke Giles. Have we got Councillor Luke Giles?
Councillor Luke Giles, Chair of your Budget and Corporate Scrutiny Management Board.
Thank you. Councillor Elaine Giles.
I can't see Councillor Elaine Giles, Chair.
Okay, I'll move on. Councillor Paul Moore.
Councillor Paul Moore, Chair of the Neighbourhood and Community Scrutiny Panel.
Nice to see you, Paul. Councillor Priest.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Councillor Liam Priest. I'm Vice Chair of the Children's Services and Education Scrutiny Board.
Yeah. Councillor Rollins.
I don't seem to have Councillor Rollins on the screen, Chair.
Okay. In that case, do we have any apologies for absence? No? Okay. Agenda item 2, members to declare any interest in matters to be discussed at the meeting. Do any members have any interest to declare? No? Okay. Agenda item 3, minutes. The minutes of the meeting held on the 12th and the 12th and 26th of August are presented. I move them as a correct record. Do we have a seconder, Councillor Ali? Councillor Underhill?
Oh, yes, I was just switching my mic on. Yes, I second the meeting. Minutes.
Thank you very much, Councillor Ali. Therefore, the minutes are approved. Everyone happy with that?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Agenda item 4, additional items of business. We do not have any additional items of business today. Agenda item 5, urban design and building service repairs and maintenance framework 2020-2024. Can I ask Councillor Millard to present that report, please?
Thank you. Further to the Cabinet meeting on the 22nd of January 2020, which approved the construction West Midlands framework tender process and awarded it at framework level. This report now seeks approval to award at a mini tender stage, and in doing so to accept the tender of Dodd Group Limited for the mechanical and electrical repairs and maintenance and minor works for Lot 2, then to delegate the authority to senior officers to award Lot 1, which is building, fabric repair and maintenance and minor building works, and finally to authorise an extension to the current Solihull framework to take us up to the 31st of December 2020 to allow for an overlap and mobilisation of the new contract. This council's social value and community wealth building commitments have been built into the tender evaluation criteria, and they'll ensure that the successful contractors comply with locally and nationally recognised standards. So what are the social value outputs we expect from the contracts? Well, it's local employment opportunities, including apprenticeships and training. It's using local suppliers where practical to do so, and therefore supporting the local economy. And plus, it's a contractor-led community payback scheme, such as local community engagement events and volunteering support local community projects. I'll move this report and I'll hand back to the Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Millard. Any questions, anyone? No? No questions? Okay, in that case, I'll ask the Chief Executive to ask each member to confirm their vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Orcott, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Hadley, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Padda, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, everyone. Everyone's in favour of that report, so that report is approved. We'll move on then to agenda item 6, which is the provision of manufacture of bespoke joinery, and I'll ask Councillor Alcock to present that report, please.
Thank you, Chair. This report seeks approval to award the contract for the manufacture of bespoke joinery to NR Shipley & Co. The current contract is serviced by Oaklead Commercial Services Limited and has been in place since 2018. The new contract runs for 4 years from the 1st of October 2020. The contract is to manufacture and supply bespoke joinery. This is such items as non-standard doors, garage doors, staircases and communal fire doors, etc. Over the 4-year contract period, which is a call-off budget, the total spend is estimated to be just shy of £290,000 or £72,000 per annum. NR Shipley are based in Kidderminster, and are of the 3 companies that have submitted the tender, none are based in Sandwell. I recommend this report to Cabinet.
Thank you very much, Councillor Alcock. Any questions, anyone? No? No questions? In that case, I'll ask the Chief Executive to ask the members to vote.
Thank you. Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Alcock, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Hadley, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Padda, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
4.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, everyone. Is in favour of that report, so that report is approved. We'll move on to agenda item 7, which is Business Improvement District Levy Prepayment. And I'll ask Councillor Millard to present that report, please.
Thank you, Chair. The purpose of this report is to assist the West Bromwich Business Town bid and the Albion bid with their cash flow. Following the impact of COVID-19, that basically they've had to continue to deliver on their business plans and supporting local businesses. I went out into West Bromwich with the West Bromwich Town bid, and I saw the fine work they're doing. The bids are funded by a levy payment, which is paid by all the business premises in the bid area, and the council's business rate services sends out annual levy bills on behalf of the bid and collect the payments, and then the payments are transferred to the bids periodically. It's anticipated that the economic impact of COVID-19 is likely to cause businesses to delay paying their levy, and this will put the viability of the bids at risk due to cash flow difficulties. The proposal is that the council prepay the bids a proportion of their estimated income on a quarterly basis in advance of receiving the levy payments from the businesses. This then will help regulate the cash flow for the bids and enable them to continue with the business support work in the COVID recovery period. The bids have proposed an emergency 12-month budget based on 65% of previous operating costs, which would enable them to continue providing the essential service to local businesses and also minimise the amount of funding that the council would need to provide. At the end of the financial year, a review will be completed by the council for both bids between payments made during the financial year and the levy income received. The outstanding balance will be paid to the bids, and if the prepayment amount exceeds the amount that we've collected through the levy, an invoice will be raised to the bids to collect the amount back. I'll move the report.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Millard. Any questions, anyone? No, nothing? Okay. In that case, we will move on to the vote. If the Chief Executive would do that, please.
Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Alcock, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Hadley, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Padda, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
4.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
4.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Everyone's in favour of the report, so that report is approved. We move on to agenda item 8, which is Sandwell Local Development Scheme 2020, and that's also Councillor Millard.
Sorry, you're probably going to get sick of hearing my voice today. After this, I've only got one more. It's all right. Okay, so this report seeks authority to publish a new local development scheme for Sandwell, reflecting revised timescales due to the impact of COVID-19. The Sandwell LDS, rather than me keep saying local development scheme, I'm going to say LDS, acts as a starting point for the public and others to find out about what the council's proposing and planning documents and policies. It outlines the broad timetable to produce all the documents that make up the local development framework. It must be made available publicly and kept up to date. The Sandwell LDS is updated annually, and the last LDS was approved by Cabinet in January and is available on the Sandwell website. But due to the impact of COVID-19 on the progress of the Black Country Plan, the Sandwell LDS needs to be updated, and I've just gone too far down on my list, sooner than anticipated to ensure that the information published is the most up to date. The main change to note is that the Black Country Plan is now estimated to be adopted in April 2024 rather than March 2023. And the implication of this, the Samwell and the Samwell plan, because that has to follow on from the backcountry plan, is that the Samwell plan won't be adopted until 2025. The recommendation is for the revised LDS scheme to be approved as an up-to-date replacement for the previous version. So I'll remove the report.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Millard. Any questions, anyone? No?
No, Chair.
In that case, I'll move to the vote, please.
Councillor Crumpton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain. For. Councillor Alcott, for, against or abstain. For. Councillor Hadley, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Padda, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you. Everyone's in favour, so that report is approved. We move on to then agenda item 9, which is the consultation and procurement of advocacy contracts, and that is Councillor Shaheen.
Okay, thank you. This report requests approval from Cabinet to retender a range of advocacy provision in accordance with Council's procurement and contract procedure rules 2018 and 2019 for a maximum of 3 years starting from 1st of April 2021. Advocacy provides support for those who have difficulty understanding or retaining information, or for those who are unable due to capacity issues to make decisions on their own, the majority of which the Council has a statutory duty to put in place in accordance with various pieces of legislation associated with health and social care. The report also seeks approval from Cabinet to review the current element of non-statutory advocacy with a view to aligning this more directly to the Council's other statutory obligations around provision of advocacy services. On this basis, I would ask for approval of the recommendations as outlined within the report. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Shaheen. Any questions, anyone? No?
No, Chair.
I think advocacy is a very, very important part that we play with that, because there are a lot of people out there that can't speak for themselves, and without the advocacy we wouldn't be able to continue supporting those in the same way that we do. So I find that that's very, very important. So I'll move to the vote, please.
Thank you, Chair. Councillor Crumpton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Alcott, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Hadley, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Padda, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you for that. Everyone is content with that report, so that is approved. And then I'll move on to agenda item 10, which is variation to the Community Living Support Networks contract. And that is, again, Councillor Shaheen, please.
Okay, thank you. This report requests approval from the Cabinet for a variation to extend the current Community Living Support Networks contract for a period of 12 months from 2nd of November 2020. The Community Living Support Networks currently delivered by Keyring, who are a registered charity, provide support to vulnerable people through 4 community networks in Sandwell. The purpose of each network is to enable supported individuals to take control and responsibility for their lives by restoring personal autonomy and opening opportunities, and to contribute positively to their own network. These extensions will enable the support and the networks to remain whilst a full review of floating. Support services is undertaken, which will inform future commissioning intentions in this area. On this basis, I would ask for approval and recommendation as outlined within the report. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Shaheen. Any questions? No?
No
Okay.
questions, Chair.
In that case, we'll move to the vote, please.
Okay, Councillor Crumpton, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Alcott, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Hadley, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Padda, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain.
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain.
For.
Okay.
Okay, thank you everyone. In favour of the report, the report is approved. We then move on to agenda item 11, which is Taylor Grange Limited Land Exchange, West Bromwich Street, Oldfleet, and that is Councillor Millard.
Thanks, Chair. This report relates to a proposal to swap 4 smaller parcels of council-owned land for 2 larger parcels of privately owned land, with neither side paying any money. The sites have been valued by an independent valuer, and this has confirmed the proposal represents value for money for the council. The developer, Taylor Grange, has acquired the junction site, and planning committee have approved an application for housing development subject to ratification by full council. There are 2 parcels of council land adjoining the junction site that would benefit from being incorporated into the junction scheme, and there are further 2 parcels of council land in close proximity that would be transferred as well. Taylor Grange owns 2 parcels of land fronting Dudley Road, adjoining the council car park and the Wellman building, and bringing these parcels of land into council ownership will enhance the council's land portfolio and provide a future development opportunity for the council. On that basis, the proposal represents good value for money to the council, and I'm satisfied that the proposal should proceed. I'll move the report.
Thank you very much, Councillor Millard. Have you got any questions?
Councillor Moore.
Councillor Moore, you've got a question?
I've got 2 questions, if I may. They might be perhaps directed to answer. First question, why is there no information actually contained in the report about the condition of the land in which the council proposes to acquire the freehold? I do have some concerns that the value of the sites actually could be significantly less than what's been estimated by the valuer, subject to any remediation works that might need to be undertaken.
Do you want to do your other question and we'll answer both?
Yeah, my second question is really around the recommendations, which do give quite significant scope to the director to proceed with, which is around whether it be prudent for the council to actually consider inserting a clause in the terms of this arrangement for the land to be built out for housing within a specified time period, to actually ensure that development takes place. So I think most people will be familiar that this site has been vacant for around 20 years. I think it's possible that the council could insert a clause as part of the arrangement that actually leads to the site being built out within a specified time period, or indeed perhaps the land actually then comes back to the council and the arrangement would cease. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Dr. Alison Lloyd, would you like to answer those questions, please?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Moore. We haven't included the valuations of the land because it's commercial and confidential information, but any estimates were taken on the information that was made available to the valuers, but we're happy to look at that further and provide you with any information separately outside of the cabinet meeting. Okay, so that was the first question. The second one is about the land being built out for housing and putting clauses into that. We are looking at some specific areas with the exchange. Again, a lot of this is commercial and confidential as part of any deal, but we're also aware of specifics with the combined authority relating to any funding that may take place to develop housing. And I know that any planning permission given will also have a time related to that. But again, this is something that we can pick up outside of the Cabinet and discuss this further with you.
Do you have any other supplementary question, Councillor Moore?
Not a supplementary, it's just to clarify on my first question, that the concern was around whether the sites that the council proposes to acquire might actually require significant remediation, and that was what my concern was around.
The valuations on the sites that we have been taken into account and would take into account any potential remediation as known at the time by the valuer, and so we don't have any knowledge of any remediation that would be required as it would have affected the value.
Councillor Millard's got his hand up.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Moore. Councillor Millard?
I just wanted to really give some assurance to Councillor Moore that actually as a cabinet it's something that we've actually quite in depthly discussed this, and I've raised it with the officers, and actually I think we're confident of these things that we've covered already in that estimation by an independent valuer. I think that is the point, and they have taken into consideration what works that any of the lands will need. And my understanding, I mean, Tammy, I know Tammy's listening in on this as well, is that actually the remediation of the land that we own, that they're taking over, is probably more than what we're actually getting from them. Tammy, you tell me, correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, so in terms of this, the estimates that we had done included a desktop assessment of the constraints. We haven't done full site investigations on each of the parcels of land, but that's not unusual given the size of the parcels of land. But we do know some estimated remediation costs on each of the parcels, and those estimated remediation costs have been deducted from the gross value to create the net value on each site. And we're also aware on the site that we're going to acquire from Taylor Grange, there's an electric pylon on one of the sites, and the impact of that on the development value has been taken off the gross value of the site. Thank you.
Okay, everyone. Any more questions from anyone? No? And as you said, Councillor Moore, this site has been a derelict site and a very unsightly derelict site for many, many years. And I'm hoping that this will find a way forward where it can find a useful use to the Sandwell, rather than sitting collecting rubbish and whatever on the site. So I'm happy for this to go forward. So we'll take a vote then, please.
Thank you. Councillor Crompton, for, against or abstain?
Definitely for.
Councillor Ali, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Alcott, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Hadley, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Millard, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Padda, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Shaheen, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Singh, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Taylor, for, against or abstain?
For.
Councillor Underhill, for, against or abstain?
For.
Can I just confirm, Councillor Hadley, it was for?
Sorry, didn't you hear me? Yes, it was for.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. So everyone is in favour of that report, and so that report is approved. Thank you, everyone, for attending. That is the end of the meeting, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you.